Hola y felicidades. Happy Hispanic Heritage Month. I'm Tom Llamas from ABC News. As the son of Cuban immigrants, I am so proud to celebrate my community in American culture. So I'm truly thankful for all these legendary individuals who have had an incredible influence on my life and the lives of many others within the Hispanic community. As far back as I can remember, I always remember Celia Cruz in my life. As a Cuban American, she is the voice, she is the soul. She really embodies everything about the Cuban American experience. She was born in Cuba, she became a huge star. And then when Fidel Castro took over, she happened to be touring at the time. She decided not to come back, and Fidel Castro was so outraged, he banned her from ever coming back. But because of that, she became such a huge force in the exile community. We call it el exilio. She always spoke out against the oppression in Cuba. She spoke out for human rights. One of my best memories of her is actually one of the first dates with my wife was seeing Celia Cruz at Jazz Fest in New Orleans. And it's sort of a special moment that me and my wife will always have. And I just love that she still lives with us through her music.
Hi.
Oh my God.
Your message to people?
Just open up your mind. There's no reason to think backwards like that.
Of course, I consider my friend and ABC News colleague John Quiñones as one of my heroes. Around here, we call him the OG. John is somebody who I recently got to know really well. And what struck me about him was the passion he has for this business. And that passion has never died with him. He's been in this business for decades. He is a legend, and he's somebody who is still hard-charging, who cares about the truth.
At 7:16 this morning, Bundy was indeed executed. The hearse with his remains passed by the street, and protesters out here let out a big cheer.
He's gone all over the world. He's reported on some of the toughest stories that we've come across in our generation. And he's also never forgotten where he's come from. You know, he is the son of migrant workers. He worked himself in a lot of those farms. His parents told him at an early age, you know, if you want to leave these fields, you have to go to college, and he did. And boy, he's come a long way. He's a person I can call, I can talk to. I really love that he's in my life and he's here at ABC News because I said he's the OG and he's a force. I also want to pay tribute to Jose Vasurto. He was the leader of the nonprofit Cuban exile organization Brothers to the Rescue. Now, he may not be a household name, but if you're Cuban American, he definitely is. You may remember there was a special period in Cuba in the 90s when so many Cubans took to rafts, to boats, to leave Cuba and seek out freedom in the United States. It was a very difficult period for so many Cuban Americans. It was their relatives that were coming over. And as a young boy, growing up, I watched this for so long. And you would see these really tough images of people, families, little kids on rafts, and they were coming to America.
Dropping in for drop.
Jose was a pilot, and he had this idea to help these people because there were literally thousands of rafters that were leaving Cuba. He'd alert the Coast Guard. He would do food drops, water drops, because some of these people were days, if not weeks, in the water, struggling to survive with no tarp, just basically having the sun bake down on them, sharks in the water, and they were doing this because all they wanted was human rights and freedom. And Jose would risk his life in these airplanes, and he'd fly over the Florida Straits day in, day out, delivering supplies and making sure those people are rescued. Another person who paved the way for journalists like me is Jose Diaz-Balartan. Jose is not only a colleague, he is a very close friend. He also happens to be a competitor. On Saturday nights, we go up against each other. He works for NBC, I'm with ABC News. And that's really an honor for me because I have been such a fan of Jose since I was younger. I watched him growing up. He's had an incredible career. He's Cuban American like I am. I had the opportunity to work with him and learn from him when I was at WTVJ in Miami, so we got to work at the same station. What he did as a broadcaster, his skills, his fearlessness, the passion he brings every day to the job. He's somebody who does this job in Spanish 5 days a week, and then he does it in English on Saturday nights. I mean, that is a real talent.
Bueno, pues hoy se anunciaron los moderadores del primer debate entre los candidatos demócratas.
He's somebody I call, he's somebody I look up to, he's a mentor, he's like a brother to me. I've just been so honored to have him in our lives, and I think America is really lucky to have a journalist like him. Finally, I would not be where I am today without the help of the faculty and staff at Belen Jesuit Prep, a school with an incredible history. It goes back to 1854 in Havana, Cuba. It was founded by Queen Isabel II, and she had this idea to educate young men, and she asked the Jesuits of the Catholic Church to take over the school. Interestingly enough, Fidel Castro is one of the alumni, but then when he takes over power in 1959, he expels the Jesuits. He literally kicks out the school that educated him. The Jesuits took this school, no money, no resources. They relocated to Miami. They started in a very small facility on 8th Street, Gaiocho. Built it basically from the ground up once again. Up till now, they've built a really just an impressive campus, an impressive facility. I had the distinct privilege of going there from 7th grade to senior year. And it's really a school that fosters so many different philosophies and ideas. Essentially, it is not about you, it's about people that are out there. So how can you help them? One of the big quotes from St. Ignatius, who's the founder of the Jesuits, is go and set the world on fire. And that's very much what they sort of teach you and instill in you in Belen. It's the first place where I was taught to start reading a newspaper. That was in 8th grade. It was the first place where I learned about government, about civics. It's the first place I was able to pick up a camera. It was the first place I was able to interview someone. It was the first place I was able to speak in front of an audience. This was a school when I went there that was 90 to 95% Hispanic, mostly Cuban American. So very much the soul of the school was from Cuba. We learned about Cuba. We learned where our parents came from, where our grandparents came from. And it reminded us never to forget, where you come from, because there were still so many people struggling in that island. There still are so many people struggling in that island, to never forget and to fight for them. I thank Belen for all of that, and it's a great place, and it's still cranking out a lot of great students to this day, and I have a lot of love for them, and I definitely would not be here without the help of Belen Jesuit. Adelante. Happy Hispanic Heritage Month.